Hey, welcome to Sister George's. Sister George's. I'm here with my husband, Mr. Curlen, and we would just kind of I've always wanted to interview Curlen. Curlen has a remarkable story that I feel like should be shared with everyone. Curlen is a remarkable husband and father, and just has a really, really interesting story. So I was like, you know what? I should be the one to interview him. I should really be able to get any rumors, anything that people may have questions about dispelled, because I'm not afraid to go there. Yeah. So, babe, introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Mr. Curlen.
Hey, babe.
Hey.
What's going on, honey?
Nothing much, just chilling.
Well, like I said, I've always wanted to interview you.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of clear up any rumors, anything, hear things from your side of the fence, or hear your side of the story, get it from the horse's mouth per se.
Right. Instead of everything that's been made up.
Yes. In case you guys don't know, Curlen is the most worried about, prayed about man in the manosphere.
Facts.
Pray for Curlen.
I got my own hashtag.
Yeah. How you get a hashtag and I don't even have one?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Damn, nobody gave me a hashtag yet, and you got a hashtag. That's amazing.
Maybe I am that guy.
Oh, you've been that guy. So, what brought you to okay, tell us a little bit about where you're from, career field, and yeah, let's start there.
All right. Well, I'm from Macon, Georgia. Me and Fantastic share the same city, same hometown, that is. The background, well, my, I guess, you're going down to nuclear family or whatnot. My mom and dad were married.
Mm-hmm.
They had three boys. I'm the oldest of three. I think they split when I was 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I still remember the night that they got to arguing. I was like 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was over 40 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember what the hell they was talking about, but I remember waking up in the bottom bunk bed, and hearing a bunch of fussing. I ran out into the hallway. It was like, Mommy, Daddy, how a 4-year-old would do,
Right.
And they shuffled me back to bed, and I heard some more talking, and then next thing I know, I heard my dad's car crank up, and my family, we was real heavy in one community in Macon anyway, so like all of my folks are from one side of town for the most part on my dad's side.
Oh wow.
So it wasn't nothing to hear about the Milton boys, like that. They were notorious. So
okay.
Yeah. So I mean, Pop he was just up the street. It's not like he moved to the other side of town, moved to a different city.
Okay, so he moved out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he moved out. I want to say it was towards the middle end of the week, because a couple of days later, we spent the weekend with him.
Okay.
You know, it was, you know, me and my two brothers. Yeah.
Okay. So from Macon, did you stay in Macon?
Yeah, I was in Macon my whole life until I joined the Army.
Oh, wow. You were, I know this, but you know, like, oh, wow.
Yes.
Y'all don't know, but, or most of y'all don't know.
Well, technically, I guess you could say that I lived in Millersville, where I went to Georgia College for, a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. What'd you major in?
It was information systems at the time.
So were you always into tech and computers?
Mm-hmm. First computer was a Commodore 64. I'll never forget it. And, you know, as a kid, you get curious, and, you know, it comes with the instruction book, and you're looking at all of that basic. That was a programming language back then. You're looking at all that basic, and you kind of look at it and you be like, you mean if I type all this in, it'll do something? Needless to say, I had to find out. So, yeah, I typed it in and it did something. And I was like, oh, this is that shit. You know, and I had to be about, I was younger than Solomon. I had to be about 7 or 8 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there anybody else in your family that was just as technologically inclined?
Yeah, my younger brother, Vernon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it wasn't like you had to gain the knowledge from somebody, or somebody passed it down to you, or somebody was there teaching you.
No, this is my gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like that natural understanding. You know how some people can like naturally read people or have this natural affinity to like grow things.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Like that was my gift. And I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you joined the Army. What was your...
I went to college first.
You went to college first?
Yeah.
What was your college career? Like...
Well, freshman year was okay. You know, you stepping into a new city. You trying to get the feel for everything. I knew a lot of people because a lot of people from Macon went to Georgia College, where I was. It was fun though. I had fun. Like I was actually a DJ for the radio station.
A DJ?
Yeah. Yeah, I spun the Quiet Storm. I wish I could find some of my old tapes. You'll be like, oh, okay, you got a little something, okay.
You know what was hilarious? Okay, so if you know Curlen, then you know Curlen is like old hip hop, like huge, big, really big on old hip hop. Not a fan of new school hip hop at all.
Yeah, I like my boom bap.
Yeah. And with me, you know, I'll listen to a little trap. You know, I ain't scared of a little trap music. But what was funny is like some of like the old R&B, like let's say Silk Lose Control. And that's actually like one of my favorite 90s R&B songs. Like, child, I'ma sing it. And it was funny as hell seeing Curlen sing that and then Rome, I Belong to You. Child, I thought I would fall out of my chair because for whatever reason I was like, you know, he's into old school hip hop. Usually if I'm playing music, he and I don't generally have the same music taste. So if I'm playing something, he's like, he'll roll his eyes. He off in another room. I like, if I want to have some time to myself, all I gotta do is turn on the radio. Curlen be like, all right, I'll see you later. Or
more
he's
or
gonna less. But to hear him sing I Belong to You by Rome, I was hollering because I just was like, where did you like, why would you not?
I don't know all the lyrics, but I got them hooks down pat.
Yes. Curlen has like natural ability to hear shit that, you know how you can listen to a song, you can hear just about like the main instruments. Curlen is the person that picks up on like the horns and the pianos in the back and just stuff that normally most people wouldn't pick up on, and I've always thought that was really neat. That was like one of my favorite things because if we're talking about music, and he'll be like, "You ever heard this sound before?" And it'll be some crazy sound. I'd be like, "Where did you get that from? You've never heard that before?" And so he'll play it, and it'll be like a familiar song. And I'd be like, "I've never paid attention to that."
Yeah, that happened just last night.
It sure did. It really did. That was chaos.
No, that and 3-6.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, wow. And I thought that was so funny. Now he is a 3-6 Mafia fan, and the song was
I'm more of a DJ Paul fan.
Excuse me. I stand corrected.
Well, you know me. I'm just as big on producers, or bigger on producers, than I am lyricists. Gotcha. Like when I first hear a song, I hear the track first, and the vocals are just another instrument to my brain.
I see.
Yeah, I don't be hearing shit they be saying. I don't. And then later on, if I really, really like the track, then I'll be like, oh yeah, he was kind of spitting hot fire.
I thought that was so interesting. That was really interesting about you.
Yeah.
So, after college, or what? Did you graduate from college?
No. So, what typically happens is, my mom's was out of work at the time. Of course, they were divorced.
Right.
And Pops was the only one bringing in money, and he was helping me out as much as he could while we were rebuilding the house that my grandma gave him. Mm-hmm. So, we had kind of reached a stopping point, and he was helping me get through school. I had a student loan. Mm-hmm. But it got to the point to where the financial aid office screwed up my loan application. I couldn't get no more money, and he couldn't pay for it all.
Oh, wow.
So, I came back home after about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And we were just, sitting there. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I couldn't just sit still and do nothing. Like that's just not in me. Mm-hmm. And fucked around and saw one of them commercials, and I was like, I was like, man, you know what? I can do that shit for 4 years. It'd be like going to high school. I can do that shit for 4 years and get some money for school, and I'll be set.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I made up my mind, and I told my pops what I was gonna do. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, okay.
So did you have any apprehension about going into the military?
No.
None at all?
No. Of course, my mom did.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom,
your mom, not mine.
Yeah, my mom's kind of the worrying type.
Right.
So, she was not there for it. She called everybody on her side of the family to try to talk me out of it.
Seriously?
Just about.
This is like the first time I'm hearing this, so I'm like, oh wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's not like we didn't have military people on that side of the family, but I guess she was, you know how it is. My firstborn, I'm worried about my baby getting killed somewhere. That whole type of thing. And it was but I had already made up my mind, and I was going.
Okay.
The only regret is that I didn't go in the Air Force, and I didn't realize that until my second day of basic training, where we was out there running and sweating like hogs, and they was just taking a nice little stroll. That's when I realized I fucked up. Real talk. That was when I realized I fucked up. But I was like, well, hell, I'm in here now, so let's make the best of it,
So what was Army life like to you?
It was just like, I'd never been to Job Corps, but I can imagine it was kind of like Job Corps.
It what's funny? I thought about going to Job Corps before I went into the military, but I was like, it seemed kind of like reject-ish.
Yeah.
No offense, but I was like,
Well, I mean, Job Corps is more like a vocational path, so
Yeah.
to speak. It's nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
In hindsight, I kind of wish I hadn't worried about going to college and had just went to tech school. I could have saved myself some time.
true.
But it's all good. I'm here now, so I wound up going to tech school anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the Army, did you get to travel anywhere interesting?
Yeah. Okay. In those 4 years, I made it to. In those 4 years, I made it to South Carolina for basic, Augusta, Fort Gordon for AIT or training. Then I went to Fort Hood and Killeen, and out there I was stationed with 2 of my cousins, which was dope.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was stationed with Derek and cousin Angela,
Okay.
Julio's sister.
I've never met Julio's sister. Have I? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And from there, I did a year out there, and Korea was next. Did a year in Korea, and then I came back, and they dumped me in Bragg, in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
So, what was Korea like for you?
Korea was fun. I had a lot of fun. I wasn't one of those types that would, just kind of sit by and be like, oh, it sucks here. It's not America.
Yeah.
I would go out and explore and see what there was to see, because I didn't know when I would ever come back.
Was you on some save yourself black man then?
Well, I wasn't turning nobody down.
Oh, hold up now.
I did have a Korean girlfriend while I was there. What? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, but you know how it is. If you in a foreign country, the American girls, even the most average of American girls, they reserve the right to turn their nose up because they're the only ones there.
Facts.
This is how
Extra facts.
Yeah, this is how military life works.
Facts.
Yeah. So a lot of them thought they was too big for their britches to talk to anybody.
So, what about with the Korean women? What was that experience like? So, you're in Korea, you're exploring. Were they approaching you? Were you approaching them? How did that work out?
I was approaching them, but it was on some nightlife, just kind of chill vibes type of shit.
Yeah.
Like most of the partying I did was on base.
Okay.
But like when I would go out, I would just me and some friends would go play pool.
Right.
But it would be like in town.
Okay.
Either that or we'll like go to a bar.
Yeah.
Every now and then, stuff like that.
Okay.
And I met this one girl on the train when I was on my way to the electronics market in Seoul. And we just kind of started talking, and didn't stop talking.
Bitch.
You are hilarious.
I don't know that.
You are hilarious.
I don't know that hoe. Okay. Okay, so what happened with that situation? Like, okay, of course you were in the military, so
oh yeah, she got a really big opportunity to go to Europe, and I was like, yo, take that. I was like, if that's what you really want to do, I don't know where the hell the Army's sending me next. Like, don't pass up that opportunity on my account. Cause yeah.
whatever happened to Dim Sung?
You are hilarious. I do not know.
Good.
You cold as ice.
Shit.
You are cold.
What?
What?
What? I'm just, hey.
You are hilarious.
Okay.
You know that.
Okay. Get the bitch slow. Okay. So.
Yeah, Korea was like I went on vacation. I went to Bali. I went to Indonesia.
Nice. I've never been to Bali, and it's on my bucket list. So.
You probably gonna fall out, but I had an Indonesian girlfriend.
Oh, you was all the way SYS. Go ahead. Tell me about this person.
Like I said, I was in Korea. And the American women weren't giving nobody no talk. Mm-hmm. Unless you was, Sergeant Pookie.
Oh my God.
Or Corporal Ray Ray. But yeah, I mean, you got to realize that the majority of us was in our early 20s.
Right.
So that's kind of what it was, because everybody trying to figure everything out. And when you're young, you really don't know no better. You don't know a lot of the shit that we know now. You know what I'm saying? So,
true.
I mean, those were the cards that were dealt. So you just had to play.
Okay. So, Miss Indonesia, what happened with her?
She was trying to play me.
Oh, tell us about that.
Nah, like she was talking to me and this other guy from Holland, but the dude from Holland was older and he had a little money, so yeah, that was funny. So I let her ride off in the sunset. I wasn't gonna keep chasing nobody that that didn't want me, but we had fun when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, was she trying to get a green card?
I don't believe so, but she did wind up marrying that dude, and they moved to Germany, and that's the last I heard from him.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a couple decades ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Indonesia, you finally get out of the army. What do you do then?
Got out of the army. I was in North Carolina for about 6-7 months, trying to plant roots, and that didn't work out. So I wound up moving back to Macon. Moved back in with Pops, and got my GI Bill money and went to tech school. Okay. While I was there, the land party that I went to in Macon, Warner Robins a couple weeks ago, I met all those guys
at tech school. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I thought, or the correlation, it just never was there.
Yeah. The Wes's younger brother Dylan was in my class, and I met Wes through him, and Wes was like a startup guy.
Gotcha.
So, he's always kind of done his own thing. He was heavy into Cold Fusion and web and all this other kind of stuff. And, the latest venture is Skulls.net. It's a esports merch company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm one of the silent parlors on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I met all those guys.
Okay. So after tech school,
while I was in tech school, I met Zachlin. She worked at the FAA, and the contractor that she started with was looking for people.
Right.
So she got my resume and one of my other partners that I was at school with resume and passed it off to him, and boom, we got hired.
Okay.
Yep. So I started as a contractor at FAA in 2000? No, in 2000 or 01. It was 01.
Okay, so your anniversary is past, probably.
Yeah, my service comp is it rolls back because of
I got you.
Yeah, but I'm past 20 years as a government employee.
Good man.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I want to say we commuted from Macon for about a year, and after that I was like, you know what, it's time to move up here. because I was dealing with this one chick, and is that your background music? you look like what the hell going on? Yeah, that had to be what it was.
Okay, so tech school.
Mm-hmm.
You started with the FAA.
Moved here.
And what brought you to the manosphere? Like, how did you end up here in this space?
Okay, so that was '01, right?
Mm-hmm.
You up here, years, almost decades go by. Me, my ex, in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
We get married, and then that dissolves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've been together for 6-7 years, it's a hurtful thing, especially under the circumstances. And when you're trying to figure out why somebody would step outside of the marriage, you looking everywhere for answers.
Right.
So I was looking outside, I was looking in, and just trying to put into words what I had just encountered.
Yeah.
And I know, but a lot of people that become damaged from relationships wind up here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So while I was on YouTube, I think I ran across one of Uncle Rom's videos.
Mm-hmm.
And Rom got a catalog.
Right. Huge.
Yeah. So I'm binge listening to all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rearranging the flow chart in my mind. And then he mentions BGS.
Mm-hmm.
So I look up BGS, and BGS got a catalog.
Yes, extensive.
Right. So from there, the floodgates were open.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I wind up there. And I realized a lot of things about the manosphere, my experience in being around it.
What do you think has been the most impactful experience, or what do you think was the most impactful what was the most impactful knowledge that you got from the manosphere? Like, what did they teach you?
Well, here's the thing, like coming out of that divorce, looking for answers, where I am, the person I am today did not solely come from the manosphere. That was just a part of it. I would say that was maybe 20% of it.
Okay.
The other part was doing a lot of introspection and internal work. I met Tamara, mm-hmm. the astrologer.
Right.
And I started digging into that, and that kind of helped me put together how certain people operate and the common traits with that deals with the signs.
Got you.
Because it's a starting point to understanding people.
Right. Right. It is.
Or one of the starting points.
Right. Because there are many different aspects of people, and we all are comprised of many different things, so it's not like you're just relegating them to a certain sign, but certain signs do possess certain traits, and
they're more common than people think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We're complicated.
Right.
Everyone's complicated.
You mentioned introspection, and I thought that was a really, really good point, because to be honest, that's kind of how I wound up here in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Through a lot of introspection and observations. But you, and I do want to get back to, you said like 20% of the manosphere, you say it was about 20% of that, but I want to know what that 20% was.
The best way I can describe it is, you know how you can just kind of know some shit and not know exactly how to lay it out or characterize it in your brain.
Yeah.
What I learned from listening to a lot of guys, especially the older knowledgeable ones, is it helped me kind of put that puzzle together.
Gotcha.
So it's not like I didn't know, but I just didn't know what I was looking at.
Got you. Because it's a lot of information coming at you at once. And you have the game side. You got people that are anti-game. You have money, people talking about stocks, people talking about sports. It was a lot of stuff going on. Pickup artists, all kinds of stuff.
And all of that has its use and importance.
Okay.
The thing is once you figure out who you are, then you can figure out which pieces you need.
Okay. So would you say that you were heavy off into the manosphere?
Heavy? I was around a lot. I wouldn't say heavy as in I was about to become a content creator heavy, but I was around.
Okay. There seems to be a big misconception that you were in the manosphere and you were like huge and you were like go go go, and
I mean, I contributed. I played my part.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really talk a lot. I was, like on panels and whatnot.
Right.
I would be in the chat and I contributed monetarily.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're in the manosphere, you're in the chats, you chilling. Who are some of your favorite channels to go to? Like, what were some of your favorite channels?
Of course there was Angry Man. But my favorite was Rom and BGS. Those two are my favorites.
Oh, still to this day?
Yeah. When BGS has the open panels, I don't listen as much, but his pre-records, I listen to every one of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. These days I have like a short fuse for panel type discussions.
Tell me about it.
And I think it's because I've been around so much, I can almost tell you what people are gonna say.
Yeah, you be knowing.
Yeah,
you be knowing.
Yeah, so it's like why would I want to hear them repeat themselves when I know where they're gonna go, and I could be off doing something else more productive.
Okay.
That kind of leads me back into the other thing that I wanted to mention is I don't believe, this is my personal belief, I don't believe that people are meant to stay here.
You don't?
No. Whatever a guy is going through, my opinion is that the manosphere is meant for them to hop in there, get whatever nuggets they need, and get out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we always talk about being able to apply what you've learned from the space. Do you think there's much application once you've come here? Do you think much of the knowledge is applied from the space as it pertains to dating and mating?
For some, yes. For most, no.
What do you think the biggest problem is?
People put themselves in boxes, and they'll die in that box. I just say the saying, "I die on that hill." They'll die in that box. And I think a lot of it probably stems from stuff that they've dealt with in their past, or how they see themselves. Prime example: the game versus anti-game guys. Mm-hmm. All of that is important.
True.
It's like I said on your panel the other day. Even if you don't believe in game or want to use it yourself, passing it off as some bullshit is setting yourself up to get played, because it's like you can only see half of the chessboard because you don't know what's going on.
That is absolutely true in my opinion too. Because I've always looked, okay, if the manosphere was based on empowering men and elevating men to other levels, then I do think it is important, whether or not you practice it or not, it's still important for you to know what's going on and know who you're dealing with and how you're dealing with people, how you come across as people, how people come across to you, what you're choosing to put up with, what you're saying fuck it to. And I do think that's hella important because it kind of shapes who you are.
Right. People dynamics is big in getting what you need out of anything.
Right.
I mean, it plays a part in how you deal with people on a personal level in business, like being able to read the room and read who you're dealing with and understand the type of person that they probably are will give you a leg up.
So you're in the manosphere. The manosphere is hella anti-single mother, hella anti, I'll say like half is like, I'll say for like the one of the key points of the manosphere is anti-single mothers. I think that's one of those points that most people within the space agree on. Like it's hella anti-single mother. I would say that half of the space, in my observation, is anti-marriage. And, you know, everybody in the space talks about getting your money, getting to the bag. But when it comes down to marriage and dealing with single mothers, you've been in the space and you ended up in a situation. I ain't gonna say in a situation because goddamn, I'm that. But, you know, you ended up with me, single mother, and we got married.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? The manosphere is like, and not to say that the manosphere would necessarily dictate your life, but
because they don't,
but we can't sit here and deny that they would be lying about how men get taken in divorce and dealing with other people's kids and those dynamics. I can't say that they're wrong. What do you think about that?
Well, that's for that individual guy to make his own decisions and decide what. Everyone has their own risk tolerance, right?
Right.
That's that individual guy's decision to make.
Okay.
Like before we met, you know, I was dated a younger chick. She was like 30. Mm-hmm. You know,
No, I'm kidding.
and what I found is she was trying to play people, you know, because she hadn't quite, you know, I guess got her hot girl summer or whatever the hell out. She didn't have any kids.
Yeah.
And what I found was, for me as an older guy, like I didn't want to have to fully train, teach, explain whatever the hell you know kind of connotation you want to put on it. I don't want to have to go through all of that with another adult. Like I didn't need another quote unquote child.
Okay.
You know, I needed somebody that what's the best way to describe it? I needed somebody that had some knowledge about herself, that knew who she was and what she could contribute. And
you mean like 50-50?
No, like no, not 50-50.
Because you're not every like, that bitch over there playing 50-50. Girl.
No, but like the intangibles, the stuff you can't buy. Mm-hmm. That is what a woman should be looking to provide to a guy. Because everything else I could purchase. I could purchase a maid. You know, I can hire a maid. I can hire a chef. I can hire somebody to do the yard. I can hire. But that intangible stuff, you can't buy. It has to come from within.
Okay.
And like, as far as the single mother stuff, like, I didn't want any more kids. Because I was older when I had my daughter, right? I was 40.
Right.
And I already knew that at some point, dealing with a younger woman, the biological clock was going to fire up.
Baby, loud.
Right. And I didn't want to put myself in that situation to where, everything else is great, but we're going to wind up splitting because she wants to have a child and I'm cool on that.
Right.
So from there, that was when I decided, okay, if there's going to be kids involved, it has to be on some match my fly type of shit.
And what do you mean by match your fly type of shit?
I have a child. She has one child.
What if she had 2 kids?
If she had 2, she'd have to be somebody real fucking special. 3 is a non-starter. 4 is a non-starter.
You wasn't. Okay,
nope, I wasn't going.
Even if.
But and the thing is I know my limits and I know the kind of life that I want to have in the future.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And kids aren't cheap.
Listen.
And knowing the kind of life that I wanted, to have, like, that was going to impact the finances. Unless she was a boss chick. And even that probably would have wound up in some kind of conflict. It depends on who she was.
What would be your opinion of a boss chick? Like, how does that work out?
Most boss chicks that I know, even if they are married or feminine, they have this certain tinge of I can't be told shit. Even if it's a small bit. And it's typically my opinion is that it's typically the money that they bring in that will give them the I don't know the right word, the kind of oomph to be like, I bring in this more money or almost as much money. We can give me shit. Tell when you're out in public talking to people, tell me you don't hear shit like that.
Well, I definitely hear it. I hear it in all facets. I know a lot of chicks who are at certain points in their life and they still can't be told shit. And even with their husbands. And what I've noticed nowadays is that most women, even in marriages, want to be in control of the marriage. They want to run the marriage. They want to run the household. And it's like they want to marry a guy or be with a guy that's there for dick and attention, but don't necessarily want the leadership that comes with it.
Yeah, and that's a non-starter for me.
Because you're going to run it, child.
I sure will.
You going to run it. Who you gonna run it?
Yep. It's funny, only you're laughing.
You are killing me.
What? I'm just saying.
It's so true.
I'm
You
just
gonna
saying.
run it, child.
Yeah. I mean, and it, like, I mean, we joke on your show like I'm the benevolent tyrant, but
Child, it ain't no jokes. Oh, go ahead, babe.
you
I'm
are
sorry.
hilarious. You know that.
I'm sorry, babe.
But yeah, like I take my position as head of household seriously.
I'll take your position as head of household very seriously as well. But I think, it's not even that I think, you really possess great leadership qualities and abilities, and you know what it is that you're doing. And so people are like, okay, you were a single mother and you got with Curlen, and Curlen just lets you walk all over him and you get to do whatever you want, and then you're on the internet and you're talking to all these guys, and I couldn't be my woman on the internet talking to these men because, what if they putting thoughts in her head and this and the third, and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, I mean, part of being a leader is recognizing the strengths of everyone that you're in charge of.
What she thinks you recognize, babe?
You got a knack for talking shit on the internet.
That's my shit.
I mean, you were doing it before me.
True.
And I'll be like, oh, the Facebook questions.
Oh God, child.
I'll be like, damn. But see, your strength is that you know how to phrase a question to make somebody be like, well, damn. I didn't even think about it, friend.
Yeah.
So, like, why would I want to silence that?
True.
Especially when it can become, number one, you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Number two, it can become a revenue stream.
Absolutely. So, okay.
You being happy and working in your fulfilling your purpose is just as important to me as me feeling mine. Because if you're happy, then you make me happy.
But then, and I think that's one thing that people don't really talk about within the space, and then when they're talking about relationships, because it seems like people look at relationships, and especially within this space, it's not about fulfilling a woman's happiness, or everybody, well, you should be happy when you get, and I think that he and I were generally happy people, but I think like my sole focus is on his happiness, and I will cut you about it. I'm always gonna be, is Bay okay? What's going on with him? Let me make sure he's taken care of. Everything else is secondary. And I think where people get it wrong, it's like, okay, you can get a woman, that woman can worship the ground you walk on. But there's a difference between her wanting to do it and feeling like she's obligated to do it just because y'all are married. And it makes all the difference in how you do things in a relationship. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, how did I phrase it? You work for me, I work for the house.
Exactly.
Because that's essentially what running a household is.
Right.
That's essentially what it is. That's what it boils down to.
Okay. So, would you consider me sisterhood?
Maybe in your former life. I've heard the stories.
Babe.
What? No. Remember we was talking to Roger, he was like, Sister George don't come a long way.
Man.
I'm so proud of you.
Man.
Sounded like Deacon Roger.
When I say I was a terrorist, baby, listen, I was a terrorist. But you grow up, and I think when life has kind of beat your ass a little bit, you'll get somewhere and sit down real quick, and it's like, okay.
Remember that part where I was talking about figuring out who you are?
Mm-hmm.
That's what needed to happen.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And after that happened, and you became more self-aware, it was kind of like, oh, well, damn. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, we get on the internet, Concrete and I start our channel. We get here, we start our channel. We have a fairly decent channel within the space. Lots of controversial topics. Probably one of the most controversial interviews in the space. How does that impact you, and how does that impact our relationship?
It doesn't.
So, okay. Let me go here.
Mm-hmm.
Because being that we have a channel within the manosphere, and you have so many people, pray for Curlen. Curlen, are you okay? Blink twice if you're okay, Curlen. Sister George done put a spell on you. Curlen, is everything all right? Curlen, did you cook for? And you know they'll be like, did you cook for Curlen while you on the internet? Is Curlen's meals ready? I be like, damn, leave him alone.
That's my second hashtag. The most worried about nigga on YouTube.
Baby, they worried. So, okay, did any of that, like with the men coming from me, did any of that impact you?
At first it did, and then I realized that people can blow hot air and talk all the shit that they want. It doesn't affect what I have going on. It doesn't affect what we have going on.
How did you separate that?
Well, the thing is anybody can talk shit behind a microphone. It's different when you're in person.
True.
Like I always use this analogy. If you put those same people in a conference room, what would they say?
Okay, what about on the street?
On the street, a lot of people that talk a lot of shit don't really say a whole lot. And the reason is because you never know who you're dealing with. In real life, there are real consequences.
Absolutely.
Online, what you gonna do? Make another stream?
You know what, nigga? I'm going live right now.
Well, I mean, let's be realistic. Like that is about the extent of it.
You're right. You know, if we're tallying it all up, that is definitely the extent of everything.
Yeah, no one. I mean, we're not hard to find. If some people really, really, really had an issue, they can come knock on our door.
That's not an invitation.
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is there's rarely, if ever, at least to my knowledge, let's chop it up and squash this.
Right.
Especially in person.
True. How do you feel about displays of bravado? And I think you kind of answered that, but I just wanted to ask to get a full spectrum.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's the same thing. The most people, the people that are typically the most loud will typically have the biggest consequences. Mm-hmm. Case in point. You go to the other side. Look at all the Karens.
Listen, you got a point.
Another case in point. Just this weekend. The whole 3-6 and Bone Thugs thing.
That was funny to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But most people just be cool because they got shit going on in their real life. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be caught out here over some silly shit. Like that's not productive. It doesn't gain you anything.
True.
I mean, if you're worried about what other people think, then maybe that's of value to someone else. But overall, I really don't care.
Lucky me. Because I would think that when you come to a space and guys that are supposedly really, really up on game and really quote unquote have their shit together, and they're saying, well, Sister George, she a single mother and she talks like this, and she's a hood and she's a thug and she's out there and she wants to fight and she's always arguing with men, and if I was a man, my woman couldn't be nowhere near the manosphere. She couldn't be nowhere near the manosphere. And your wife is in the dead set middle of making content, talking shit to guys, and the whole thing is, you know, the optics would say, well, you're always in the middle of some shit. How does does that impact you in any way?
No. Because like that's their decision to make for their household and the woman that they're dealing with.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Really is.
Yeah, it is.
Like for us, like you have a bigger purpose.
True.
And I understand that purpose.
True.
Like your purpose is to get the dudes on one side and the sisterhood on the other side to think about some shit.
True. So how did you get to a point of high confidence to not worry about what people think in that aspect?
Because I came to the realization that if I worried about everything that a motherfucker had to say, then I'd never get anything accomplished. Because I'd always be worrying.
Yeah.
Like all of that energy can go into something constructive.
Do you think I put too much stock into what people say in regards to this space and how they feel about our relationship?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
But I also understand that that's kind of a part of who you are too. So I don't trip. You know? What's it saying? Bigger fish to fry? That's
True.
me.
Yeah. And I'm gonna jump off the damn. God damn it, no! Listen, nigga, you ain't.
But
that's me.
But well, I mean, these days it's not like you jump off and are starting stuff with people.
True.
Like maybe early on you kind of poke somebody, put a finger in somebody's eye. But like from my perspective, you're like Mayweather. You're a dodger and a return puncher.
Okay. What is marriage life like for you?
Marriage is fucking lit.
Thanks.
Like, yeah.
But nigga, it ain't gonna stay like that, nigga. What do you say to that?
That's for me to worry about.
So,
like that's not really anybody else's concern. Number one.
mm-hmm.
And remember, I was talking about risk tolerance.
Right.
That was my risk to take. Nobody has to put themselves in that position, but me and you.
Right.
It's like. So, okay, the anti-marriage guys, you know, a lot of those cats are worrying about the laws and this and that and the other.
Losing half their money, like losing half their shit.
If that's a risk that they don't want to take, then by all means, that's on them. But consistently talking other people out of it is different than saying, you sure about that? Okay, this is what you're up against.
Okay.
There's a stark difference because one side is like, nah, you fucking up. And the other side is like, okay, if you want to cross that bridge, here's what's on the other. Here's what you can run into on the other side. So like with all this knowledge floating around the manosphere, it's still up to each individual person to assess their risk tolerance and decide what they want to do if they meet that woman.
Would you advise anybody to do the same thing that you did?
If they made their own assessment, then why not? I'm not here to talk anybody into or out of it.
Right.
Right now, the laws are the laws. They are what they are. I don't see anybody doing any lobbying or rallying to get anything changed. So you decide if you want to play that game of chess or not.
And being that you would have more so of a likelihood to lose within that game, what are your thoughts in that aspect?
Well, I mean, nothing worth having is without risk.
That's true. That's true. Now, was there any spells that you feel like was put on you? Do you feel like a root was put on you?
No, because I'm a wizard.
You're a magic nigga, babe.
Yeah. Educated, magical, game lame. There's got to be a better way to put them words together. But now, like real talk, I possess a little all of it.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's part of being a well-rounded person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
very well-rounded.
Yeah.
Very, very well-rounded. You came from a great stock.
Yeah, like there's strengths and weaknesses in all the arguments.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is what it is. Marriage life is good for you. Do you feel like you're being held hostage?
Didn't I say I'm gonna run it?
You did.
Don't I run it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. I did all of this, let's say, and you know, this is the argument. They'll say, well, she did all of that just to draw you in.
Ain't nothing changed.
Not a damn thing.
Hell, it got better.
Be trying to tell like, nigga, I can do this. But you make it easy as hell though. You make it easy as hell.
Well, I mean, that's part of my strength in being the head of the relationship.
Yeah. Because it doesn't feel like work.
You
know what I mean?
It really is like yin and yang.
Yeah.
And you're right, it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel like work at all.
And of course, you know, they just 6 months in, you know, it's still honeymoon phase. Like the goal is to keep it honeymoon phase.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, I mean, yeah.
Lit.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think of any more questions. And talk about the risks. We talked about me being in the space. What marriage is like for you. Okay. This is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like being a stepfather?
Well, when you're brought up a certain way and you have certain perspectives on parenthood, of course you'll easily see cracks in what someone else has done. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure you see the same thing on the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a son, I have a daughter. We got one each.
Right.
So now we have 2 kids.
Right.
Right. So personally, I don't mind it. Especially if you catch them early enough. Mm-hmm. It's easier to have a positive impact on them. Mm-hmm. My dad is a stepfather. Mm-hmm. And I told this story on your show too. My stepbrothers, you know, they had been away from their dad for, you know, as long as I can remember. Mm-hmm. My stepmom was military and their dad is military.
Right.
You know? So you know, all of a sudden when they became, you know, I think it was mid to late teens, all of a sudden, you know, they did a thing where they wanted to go live with their daddy, blah, 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 this and the third. And they, you know, fussing and hooting and hollering. And so they did. They moved them out there. Lasted a week and a half, 2 weeks. And they realized what it was hitting for. And when they came back, they was like, yo, you really are my dad. You're my father.
Wow.
Because it's more than just biology. Of course, you have all of the genes and all this other kind of stuff. But when you can impact how someone operates in the world and the way that they think, that's just as important as biology.
So, okay, then it comes down to raising another man's kids and being involved in another man's kids. Let's say people will say, well, she made a decision. She chose this guy. She chose to become a single mother. Why would you want to take on another person's responsibility in that aspect?
You mean like regarding us?
Yeah. Or in general, either or.
Well, I mean, remember I was talking about Match My Fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now with us, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not for everybody.
No.
And I wouldn't ever say that it is for everybody. It goes back to risk tolerance.
Right.
If that's something that a guy wants to do or is okay with doing, then that's his decision to make. Because anybody can make blanket statements, but no one knows the details but that man, that woman, and those whatever kids are involved
in that dynamic.
Right. For example, we can lead with the example that's typically thrown out. You have the stand-up guy that has all the money, and he gets with some Sharquisha or whatever that has 3x3, and the dynamic is fucked up. Totally. Or you could have the stand-up guy that runs into, some woman that is, I don't know, once divorced or one child, and is just trying to get herself back in a position to really start talking to people again.
Yeah, definitely.
She has a good kid generally. Kids are going to be kids.
Right.
She has a good kid generally. Like it's not one person's decision to make for everyone, and you can't put everybody in the same box. You can make generalizations and hope that you're proved wrong. Or whatever, but until you're there and in it, you won't know. And the other thing is, typically people will give you a glimpse of who they are and what they're about when you first meet them, if you're paying attention.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to learning people, astrology, MTBI, generally paying attention.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I had to really, really learn how to tap into and understand what I was seeing is my intuition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because like I said, like back to the manosphere and the puzzle pieces, I was seeing shit,
right?
But it was a jumbled mess.
Yeah, I mean, because there are a lot of messages here, like a lot of messages here.
Yeah. So that, along with all the studying that I did, like I said, personality types, astrology, all of that stuff, it was part of my personal decoder ring to help me understand people better. Once you understand people better, you can get a better grasp of dynamics. You understand the dynamics, you have a better idea of who you're dealing with. You understand who you're dealing with, you will know whether that's somebody that you want to deal with long term or let them pass you right on by.
That is absolutely true. Do you think that our relationship in marriage offers hope? Are we selling hope around this thing? We selling hope to the manosphere?
We ain't selling shit.
Not a goddamn.
We ain't selling shit with super chats. and memberships.
Do a couple ads too, if y'all ready.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I think we make a good example that it can work.
It can work up until this point. You got to keep in mind.
No. It ain't no this point. This forever. Your ass is stuck with me.
Oh, you put the spell on me.
I told you I'm a wizard.
I'm the one who got the spell put on. I'm kidding. I be trying to tell like it, like don't eat the spaghetti. They so stupid.
Yeah.
They so retarded.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that this is a really, really good way to kind of get your story out there and to see it from your perspective. I was very impressed. I knew, but kind of hearing you put it into words is always impressive to me because I don't really think you get the chance to express yourself, or people are so quick to have their own judgments and views and judgments about whatever that. I don't know. I just don't feel like you've ever really got a chance to put your own story out there without people making assumptions, trying to figure whatever out.
Well, it's just like anything else. Even after this gets published, they're gonna pick it apart, and it's gonna be a story for 3 weeks, and then they'll move on to something else.
Maybe it won't be a story.
Come on, man. It's Sister Georgia, Mr. Curlen.
Mr. Curlen.
Yeah.
Goddamn, you put spells on me. I done put spells on you, and we over there spelling and shit.
Gandalf, motherfucker.
Well, I'm glad that you actually did this interview with me. This is nice.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.
Let me go thank you. Let me come on so I can go thank you the right way.
Hey. Gee.
You bad.
You always say that.
It's true.
Yeah. All right.
Oh well. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully it gives you guys a little bit more understanding of us. I enjoy doing these type of things with Kurt. Like, people be like, you and Curlen should have a podcast. Me and Curlen have some really, really, really dope ass conversations. Of course, none of it really makes it on the air, but when we have these conversations, I'm always like, hell yeah, that was lit.
Your quote is, you be knowing.
I be knowing, he be knowing. Yeah. So, thank you, Mr. Curlen.
You're welcome, baby.
All right. We're out.
Peace.